Abusia ya makwaba Kennedy on Japan Junior page so ya makwaba akwaba titire ema obibia adofonom na mo ho esesen nsi nyankopana adomba bi obibia wo bia no ne ho ye ahodene ewo ho do board aboade na ase so ahwe ye nso ama adepachi yen na ye wa ahodene na yegyina so egyina ye nan so den yes abusia baba misrawa she video no na wunua adofo wana wo ben won so no wonya bi ehwe kan wo se dwumadie ohwe me ewo Kennedy ohina Japan Junior page so wo Facebook sanso no betin ehwe me ewo YouTube Ras Media GH ho so ko ho a wo benya me kama na wahwe ene de yansem bebre yaba na yaba na ne maya yaba no ye ne wunyina na beye show no iti misrawo boa wo ho na ye ready say won so no o ba be boa wurem abekasa akire ganafo iti misrawo fo waba twere message twere hi na ye hu so wo program so na ye ntia o kama asebo oh asem kese adofo me de da bia me ka se me ba na maba me ba nso a na maba ne NDC fo ba maba amam PP fo se me be kasa bet NDC fo na omuhia some little knowledge some little what them call little things also munhu hemfa amanyo sem ho na omunya bogus argument na omoye na ntima ba na de na maba me ne unyina na be ye show yi nti adofo ba na watwere comment na ye hu kama se betumi achiawo bo mo na so be share video no na ebe ko achire na wadofo nso no onye den anya bi ahwe kan wo se opese onkohwe me wo YouTube nso a miwia misra wa se bo mo na ko YouTube na hwehwe Ras Media GH ho nso no ko ho a obenya me ahwe me kama wo se abrante me na meti hoyi e wo YouTube nso ho nso no betumi ho me kama adafo ene de discussion when you open discussion platform ni ye biatum we hear comment section no ma and also here on the top of the title now we will say link bi ho link no say oboso pe edo ebeba ewurum ha na won so no waba abekasa akire Ghana for me send the comment no so ato me send the link no ato comment section ha say the be ya babi obi a na wo so be den obetimi abo awurem kama na oni yen abedi nkomo ene ye bebo Dr. Bawumia na asem o kaaye no nti asem na o kaaye no wo de odwene fa ho no utumi ebam na aba beka de wo odwene fa ho. How do you see the speech of Dr. Bawumia? Asem o kaa say ono no sabio say woman thousands of interchange na wo de Ghana card eto ho a ono no be prefer Ghana card no eno enti a ene ye wo hanom mene unyina ye be kasa afa ho enti no sabio boabo ho na ye wa adwen se wo be join me ene na ye first time a me de possibility na tum se obia timi den ewram wo hu anuanom Yinina ya Ohana Dr. Bawumia echo address Ghana about the technology, the digitalization, the process that we are going through, the reason of going to IMF. But say and some no kai and I send be broma and some eto assume and ye and send be a sabio a some uncle Ghana for yen tino asupum. But nam say sabio Ghana mina yetimino. Yenya bronsamfo bi omo so omo ya manyofo ayese afra manyoko no NDC ntino enipa ka asempa kora mpo na omo aprekwan omo befa so a omo be drage asempa pa na nipa na ka no hamana baba ya asembone asema Dr. Bawumia ka ya no na eya asem bi a e wo senka Ghana fo yente ye ho ase yie me to my point no asem na Dr. Bawumia ka ya no odeneka because catch the say about $7 billion 7 million cedis. And a yesika bia, sorry, 52 billion cedis. And now, Sabio, and I'm COVID, and a light, Sama, Chomahama, and our bank of Bobo Siamberto. And COVID, Aba Ghana, and I mean also, I'm a Ghana, Boka Bia, Sabio, Kana, no, a 52 billion Ghana cedis, Odeba dollars, Shima, and $7 billion. I said, Yesika couldn't go here free, a free. I am for honor, a new half of it. It is a Sikano, and Yesika be a spend no with a brand and necessary someone spend there. And can you quite say, Eboko, I am a Sekako Riska. Dr. Mawood Bawumia Church Ghana for mu dientia abeduru brebi so se was a Ghana aban hana Ghana mpemfo mudi Ghana sika so omone International Monetary Fund for entra se na omuni nkomo na omfa adwene na omu hu kwa ombefa so a ombetuma aboa oman Ghana ma oman Ghana anye sika e de abo ne ho akohoma na emu akeka mu no na oka se Ghana buying a year and another uncle Kufuado, Dr. Mawood Bawumia, no one cassa, or more administration. No, at to me a day. Yen can say, I bear full near Mac Fufrobia Bagana, my moi. Had to me a boy Ghana, my Ghana, Aiden, Aquan and Nim Afan to my perfida, our Quambisho. Ability said, ye, and net ye were different places, ye were 6 centers, a hope, say, Obi El Yaro Babino here drew. Na se enye babi aka betimi akọ ntem ama ye de adro no akwa akoma saa nipa akoro na oyare na yetumi edi drone ede obushafo ma me just 1 minute muntie video no kakra.
Since independence we inherited a problem of no unique national identification system. This had been with us since independence. We have implemented the national identification system of the Ghana card. And we have today 16 million Ghanaians with unique identities. And that is a major transformation. A lot of people sometimes don't even appreciate what the impact of the Ghana card is. But if you gave me 1,000 interchanges and the Ghana card, I'll choose the Ghana card because it has more impact on the economy. Government has been able to solve many problems that have faced Ghanaians. Some of the problems go back to
Kwabra preku yes miya be ma te sen nse nyankopon adom ho ye wo ahodre abusianfo me se mo share video no na yenko yanim mo share video na yenko yanim na nipadom ente se Mr. Manfo aba life ayede nsempa no ebra Ghana fo onwia wa ba ma kire se link ne wo ho se wo asem kan osutimi bo wurem na wa be kire se the asema Dr. Mawood Bawumia kan ya no de wodwene fa ho your point of view. Yes, who to me, now Babekasa. The door is open to everybody. We are NDC new, we are MPP new, we are CPP new. Wherever your political affiliations are, you are free to join here and tell us your mind. When you are temudia, Ubiaba, over to me, Achenadre. Yemia Kwabana Apreku, Yamakwaba, ever platform issue. Sasuna Tifu Amohemia, mean to me humo, Michamunina. Boy person yen chia e wo 23 so he wo ani kwampapa so a wo tre message wo tre hi ana se o ma yehu se waba platform no so a yen so be pe kwam titro so ne ya chia kama na ye no ye di juma no enti asema na America asema Dr. Mawood Bawumia be ka ye no there is nothing na ye ade bi asebio na enya de a sebio bi osu odi amanyo ko achi entiasia because Dr. Mawood Bawumia ebe chire mu ba bia sika na eni Ghana se omode be ya adwuma no akodi Dr. Mawood Bawumia ka mete ho asese enam COVID enam lighter offense emergency car purchase agreement Mahama koyeye ede ba Ghana any banking sector create up na omo ye ntino e ma Ghana boka sika pepepe maako 52 billion Ghana cedis asa bio se wo de ba dollars ma ay $7 billion sika asa bio sa sika no aye ka ho asem no de ye kwa akwaje free IMF no enuru ne half because ye IMF no ye rehwe maybe 3 billion or 2 billion or 1 billion na se uhe $7 billion a ye ka de John Mahama ne na aban ene mane beda Ghana man so na uhe de sika de ye Ghana fo se ye hia free IMF fo ho na de support ye ho a e kire wo se saa aka no na eni Ghana man no mu a se omo amma ngu Ghana fo so a enka Ghana enko IMF man nye yie because nka ye wo ahoto e wo sika fam se ye enko IMF enti nsem na Dr. Mawood Bawumia kaya no even the NDC communicators approve say and some figures numbers on the bar bontin nyina no e correct I say don't get yaka say nsem na okay the numbers and the figures on the bar ni nyina e correct but enam say NDC ne asem titro be kachre Ghana enam say NDC nim how to rule a country enam say NDC nim how to even create what them call a campaign to bring out your campaign message into know they are hiding behind asema Dr. Mawood Bawumia can say he will prefer one Ghana card more than 1,000 interchanges. Only the wise men will understand the meaning of that word. And no mum and omodi aye you can say outline or more underline as the only thing Dr. Mawood Bawumia ba no okay. Asem ne ya reho because odwene ho ka say enti saa nipa we num na omo pese o medi Ghana man so ana. How can it be? Bress Lawson yemo akwaba Ahmed Goti aja napo me yemo akwaba so Kojo Nkroma yemo so akwaba sister mechia opa Ghana tadi hope bi aboko de hadofo enne platform ne nyame nkwana mbe 100 wa opese o merebu no utimi wuram na ya discuss about the reason why the NDC decided to choose only that expression of Dr. Mawood Bawumia. How mujai in some akani nyina go babi na omofa only the Ghana card issue alone. Henti no a momento asema na yeka so. Mr. Obusuan oba na wa share video no on say ye no ye tu ye nima si ho ye nima si ho say ye adwuma pa e de ama Ghana. Henti won so no say oba de obetumi aye de aboa adwuma pa ama Ghana man akoso. Ama ya ton Ghana wo kwampapa so ama wiase amansan e Ghana fo ate de ekoso wo Ghana. Na omonso no edi positive energy a support Ghana man Ghana gina na nan so no say we be modern na we share video no so we be comment na obia akwanya so betimi abo awuram na oni nyina adi nkomo wo ha na ya fa adwene na ato adwene so eno mom na be ntimi so adofo mu modern na mo share video no asemana meka Dr. Mawood Bawumia be gina ho or the figures fact realities. And somehow really everybody knows to say these things have gone on. And somehow Dr. Mawood Bawumia beka you know there is nothing and this in be atima be gina bonte a challenge. Sika Dr. Mawood Bawumia can say the interest on the loan or mokoji so omode kwakoye power agreement no. Or see 8 billion Ghana cedis every year. I know NDC communicator has come out to challenge that figure. Do you hear what I mean? Enti se obi aba bekasa e the figures aba bonten aba begu mo ani mo asito so a kire se mo ye mamofo a mo betra akonwa no so no kohwisem sikadie bosian bo anem famfa so magana bosian asabio na there was no advantages of that following no nipa na begu mo anim ase kama se wo amansan anim ewo sabio foreign observers anim mo antimi ama bonten am counter on that figures but there mutimi ba am counter ya ne se nipa na ka kire mo se yenya national identification card na Ghana ni bia enya national identification card You bet to me your revenue more. I'm yet to build thousands and thousands of interchange. You know, one tea and so could pass it, but when I'm taking it to say, I could be only munyansa. I could be our cancer, my intimate running team and home actually, and who the upper sound. And then this if we're fun to say gala. And no more about social media, no more kind some phone. The best economist, the whiskey, Dr. Bawumia, His Excellency Metoso Amasore. We are nympho. We are Bajema, we Yansani. You know what economics is about. You know how to grow economy. You know how to elevate a debt economy into a high position. Now, any particular be say abejina hot I can some I bring out figures, pure figures, data year by year, what actually goes on, how you manage the economy. 2016, you handed over an economic growth of 3.5 within 1 year. Now, MPP are buying any 19 had to paja the economy from 3.5 to 7.5. Never had this has happened in the history of Ghana. Na nipa na ba betumi aba begu mu animu asise abeka numbers, figures, data on fact, relevant fact. You were not able to come out to encounter on the numbers here or the barbonte. But the mutumi at the barbonte beka sa you know, hey the emotional part. Abba Dr. Bawumia can say he rather prefer Ghana identification card than thousands of interchange because Onimu said, if the Ghana ID card is being implemented, if Ghana ID card is being, shared among all Ghanaians, it will be easy for Ghana to generate a lot of money to build in more and more interchanges. But and this lack of message, lack of wisdom about politics, lack of wisdom about economic management, they were not able to understand the intellectual expressions of Dr. Bawumia. These people were not able to hear that. And we yet who social media who be kurana na yewa bufu. Uti be kurana na yewa time. So what is a NDC for binom nipa binom mo yi omanim so mo ye NDC supporters. A bit is appear stadium. Mr. Monshe would demand to appear stadium. Bema katachi banini ma utru mo afudre. Bema udidi chair wasum sam kwan ewe nam edi nyaado ankwan. Wutimi ba abontre me ka say you don't know the importance of Ghana card. Now, one way, Nabia Meka, Yawo Obanyansafo na kwasi apanyin etias. Where the woman can see it. Yawo Obanyansafo na kwasi apanyin etias because nipa bit is a Pierre Stadium. Kwanya Ofaso Kasa Kurano Chilo say he's a completely a fool. Because se uwa nyina do say na watranga na mamu and fear do we nyina there were no identification about Ghanaians. Nobody knew who was a Ghanaian and who wasn't a Ghanaian. Sabani the policies bar. We don't know who these policies are going to. Because you said, we don't know who are the people. We don't know the identity of the people. Abandoned by then the one who say Nipadodo say name or my name say you need collect data to collect all the informations of all Ghanaians. What can my mom feel do when you know I experience all these things? Now by be a banana or can't be at say to assume say instead of you to praise the government, you are rather there coming out saying me Mahama. But now Mahama ba will say from a Pierre Stadium. When Mahama was in power, not only energy, electricity, or Juma so between a year Jumano. Were you feeling as the son of Mahama? And I was your Didier Jow. Come into us here. Come into us here. Come into us here. Because I don't really understand how can the main opposition party of a country will be so illiterate in their expressions. She say kwanya omofa so kasa no eduru baabi a eya na eya ahomote. President Lawrence, how can you hear me on YouTube? Me that's why. Eduru baabi a ena ana eya ahomete. Say you grown-ass men in the country, they don't care about the good being of the people because for in a way. I don't know they don't know the importance of identifying all the people in the country. They believe we said the jungle style of living no hey the best. Stephen Idan, Yamakwaba, Apomoti Sembro, Abusian for Moshe video no. Na me come so betumi so akọ YouTube Ras Media GH also ye twa video no gumu sa. Say we have incompetent personalities who are leading the main opposition party, which is made up of illiterates, which is made up of unexperienced personalities, which is made up of people who don't know what is economy, people who don't understand how to grow an economy. So if we talk about identification, Omunnimu Nyansa said the national identification is linked to generating internal revenue. Omunnimu said national identification is related to knowing the problem of people and where the people are. Omunnimu said national ID card is related to collecting revenues of what them call businesses, because you nya Ghana card obi entumi nkobia adwuma abra onye certificate into so so ya abanye adwuma si nya Ghana card ya untumi nya adwuma abra wuntia tax ma Ghana man si nya Ghana card na obi anya bia untumi nya carpenter for long time abra wuntia tax ma Ghana ban we dan ya obetua because we will come and find you. And because of the unique identification, untumi nyane emfiri kurofufroso nkokurofufroso enkoye the same shit. Because baby ebechi bia no, it will show up say, "Wona na ye carpenter ni wo sampa drobo a wadwa ya behye kumase a wo ye adwuma still you don't want to pay tax." But when you have bald-headed people, uneducated people, people with a limited way of thinking, say omo person meli di wa, that is what they will go about. Stephen down. Can you say a net platform you open? And this open say umra ubetumi ajoine na why dey ye nu nyina ya ye program na me kasa no hu me pese me mo Dr. Bawumia ensem bi no mo kan ya na ye ensem titire bi na wo se nke no mom na nke wo se NDC for Emfa Enkasa if they were really competent enough to match up with Dr. Bawumia. Seka NDC for eya manyoko bi a omo nim se omo wo data, omo wo political issues, and as omo wo other view of the economy and can na Dr. Bawumia kan ya na efa Ghana sika entutu ye ho no. That was what they were supposed to come and talk about it. But they refused because Omunimu said, the Dr. Bawumia kan ye no, they don't have anything to say about it because Omunim, they don't have the numbers, they don't have the figures, they don't have the intellectuality to understand what the man was saying. Adofo amoheme, President Lawson, Kojo Nkrumah, Ahmed Goti, Mr. Dr. Bawumia begina ho okasa no. Mpacho what say Ghana card nkwa ho asem no kan ya na. Abusiamfo me bisam. Dr. Bawumia ne kasa ye na ode bagina platform so kasa ye no. Se nya Ghana card nkwa na okan. Na Ghana card nkwa kasa fa no. Se wan kasa mfa interchange ho nkwa. He spoke a lot about the Ghana card. Se kwanya ye fa so yetumi edi sika free mobile operator bi ho. Edi ko another mobile operator so. Kwanya ye fa so yetimi send this sika free bank edi call another bank yetimi de call mobile money so kwan a yɛtumi fa sika free bank ɛde kɔ mobile money so kwan a yɛtumi fa sika free mobile money so ɛde kɔ bank kwan a yɛafa so ɛnɛ sɛ bio insurance yɛtumi yɛ dɛn yɛtumi digitalize na wotumi tena wo fie ɛyɛ dɛn etwa wo car insurance kwan a yɛafa so ɛnɛ sɛ bio yɛtumi wotumi tena wo fie etwa national health insurance abere ni kwan sɛ wo nkɔ office baabi saa nneɛma wɔ nyinaa Dr. Mawood Bawumia bɛgyina hɔ no ɔkaa ne nyinaa but the NDC did not came out to match him on fact but they came out to match him on emotion nye emotion a yɛdedi ɔman so ɔno ankasa John Dramani Mahama ɔkaeɛ ɔsi a government is not somebody a ɔba bɛtena akonnwa mu na ɔbɛtake emotional decisions to let you feel emotion but I will say won't take critical thinking decisions beneficial decisions are ɛbɛma ɔman nafa ne ntoma pafra even though they are bitter but in some Dr. Mawood Bawumia bɛka yɛ ne nyinaa no the asɛm baako pa NDC for tumi di gyina so bɛkasa yɛ no ɛyɛ the only part about the interchanges and the Ghana Cup wey na se kyerɛ sɛ enti do you people think say the NDC is the right party to lead Ghana? Maybe a platform now too, and then me say enye only for the MPP people to talk here. Who are NDC, who are CPP, who are Kwiadonko, which party you belong to, you can come in and also talk about your point of view. Stephen Idan, Opo betima boa wuram, link no eda page na ase. Wutimbo re na obechira wa adwene. Kwabra praku, mi ya po betima boa wuram. Wo a wo hemi bia, we to obo modina boa wuram, no so obechira wa adwene. Chese political party we a political party bia, chese adwene a ye fe na adwene ye di bu man. Nyansa ene nimdi a yede bɛbɔ ɔman ne ma ɔman afa ne ntoma pa afira ɛnneɛma pa a yɛbɛyɛ ma ɔman na bɛyɛ krabere nsɛm pa a yɛbɛka ma Ghanafoɔ anya nkuranhyɛ wɔ ɔmo mu na ɔmo de aboa ma ɔman na fa ne ntoma pa afira no saa party wei sɛ ɔnka ɛho asɛm na mo de ɔmo bɛka nyinaa negativity emotions come bɛfa sɛ ɔmo bɛ create this thing of an emotional feeling to the Ghanaians. That is what the NDC always is about. The person more Dr. Mawood Bawumia and some of the boss who during his speech. Everybody has verified. The NDC self has come out and nobody counted on that issues that Dr. Mawood Bawumia talk about. Which you know, say. Information that Dr. Mawood Bawumia de ba bonteno they are accurate and some crudging and some kind sabio and throw any as the bonny be any home. But academician say Senka NDC for no ba nanka mo ba bekasa enka omonka samfa the data numbers figures and the accurate information sir Dr. Mawood Bawumia oba and obekai Dr. Mawood Bawumia can say mokobo oposia de koto lighter na nkwa ni hu hia sa mo beto sa de no ene agreement na mo ye na ni kwanse nka mo be say agreement to take or pay no na ni kwanse nka mo be ye because say sika na mo koji de koye say agreement no e de ka twitwira beto Ghana man so afibia no ye tua more than $1 billion e de ma bosia no ba bia mokobo firi ye eno no NDC fo ntia meka bibi amfa ho Dr. Mawood Bawumia come here to ho say and na mismanagement and amodity office intino sabio Ghana banks and a year juma or bank Ghana nyina almost half of them were all can I say friends and family are no money of anything John Mahama did underground and he certificate ya ma omo abra na omo ni akwanya so be banking work but they were given to them because to say they were all together because to say they were taking kickbacks so for that matter They were not ready to check who was working with the correct paper or who was not working with the correct paper. But in all this, we did not have nobody to come out and fact check the figures and the numbers that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia came in to say. But rather, we had thousands of Ghanaians. Now, the NDC for more abrochire. The NDC supporters in Europe. Said your Sagana card we assemble or first money so AD comedy on the internet. Omo kan semfo ansema nyansa bia nim. Mo amote abrochire monim say identification card is what you use in any single action that you take. Woko post office kurase woko akoye any thing in post office. Woko send the letter. Woko yade krana. We still demand your ID card. You only adwuma ye koye contract amount no. We use your identification card. Kana fodo do se na tie brochire se bi omu use amanfo krata na de ye adwuma. Enso be komu no na NDC for bi mu a omu nim pefe se wo pese won control the revenue in the country. If you want the country's income to be accounted, wo pese abaning to minya taxes. No find your money here. You need to identify everyone, and you must to tax every Ghanaian to make money so that you can develop the country with the internal revenues that the government will make. And so you NDC ni supporter. Now what abrochire. Now say sanyema we bia no wonte ase kwase asem ma Ghana card obe na dey compare. Now so ti abrochire. On say abrochire obe na why Jimmy for. Abrochire obe na why Jimmy for. Because Ghana for binu mu abrochire o mo adan nkwa amankrata. Ghana for binu ti abrochire na amkrata nti o mu ntimi nkwa o kurom. Meni Ghana ni a sabio waba hayo ne krata waba abrochire ne krata me no ni problem o. Me dey make an say I was say yente e ho ase the importance of Ghana document. Say the abrochire document ho ye important amount no. You must believe say is the same thing that you should feel for the Ghana identification policy. Where Italy here me way. So na ma bonten na only identification card what's my mobile. Uko Spain. Now only identification card what's a memorable because identification is automatically the certificate of residence. It just say uwo babite. Ube tumia nya immigration document to ukrumu but say only identity, the local identity say only bia brother. It just say only residence. It is only residence ukrumu ya na what's a memorable. And you tell in all the European, the Western world. The identification is the most important document in the country in which you are living. Mamusa akobi yourself friend don't tiro. Also Jimmy na onu dey kura pone sa akwa no because say nkokasa because a human trafficking. Sa guy no a human trafficking. Yourself friend don't tiro. Also Saudi Arabia and a orche Ghana for cotton or momo omuye jumafun ewo Saudi Arabia. He feel proud to come out and speak against the vice president, the second man of the land. So can't you say the national identification is important? Now when you Jimmy say don't you know or no, what done a human merchant, what done a human trafficking? Or a man for free Ghana more Mukoyan Kuajuma El Dubai. Who's a Nicolas Kasa? Because a man be a man year Juma to say that another uncle Kufar now by Hepese Ghana meye or man pa. Ngauze osi en chutu because you are human trafficking. Hochi a man for free man for froso de omoko man for froso emaye ko yo mo ayaka de ebinu kura ne nkraman koda. Na wo mfere ho. You have the audacity to come out and speak. One Ghana for binom, Mama NDC for Adam or moi. Ghana for binom, Mama NDC for the more adani enyan mponche nantwie nkraman imprako ena omode den omo guide mo enti de oba bi omo pe ena omode mo ko Côte d'Ivoire ya Côte d'Ivoire na onega na bohye no ukọ Côte d'Ivoire na eka carte identité na onni bia uyo dwamfunu enti se yaba na yese Ghana man no e wo so obi anya Ghana card e kire se wote Ghana na wo so ne Ghana card ya uye dwamfunu wo Ghana e wo so nye Ghana card ko no so na ban no befa so na odi ayeden atoto niema ama Ghana ni ba bia nya oman no so mfa so na se ka wei na se mo se eye bone dia na se NDC adodoro muti ma adwene mo nan aduane amobedi NDC dia mo pa ne se nka mo tititite mo friend say uncompleted building mu na nkwase asem awudie ni jimisem ye nko ye dede eno nko a adofo mo share video no bi so waba na wa share video no se via video no be ko na nim waba mesro share video no so boroi se opa waba se opa join platform no na be ka wasem why utimi ebe yeden ebe join platform no na wa kan de opese onka a kire Ghana for adofo waba so na wa share video se video no be ko na ni he Côte d'Ivoire ya uduru Côte d'Ivoire na ye kase carte identité na woni bia uyo dwamfunu. Police can arrest you at any time. Now, identity of my friend Ghana here, the first country in the world, in the Africa, to earn his independence. Up to now, after 67 good years, we are still without identification, an authentic identification. But the powerful national ID card. Now the NDC is out claiming, say, national identification card no omo na ye hefa na NDC for ye national identification card ye nyina ye ni ha na Sam George call parliament say national identification card enye possible ye nyina ye ni ha na asidu nkatia efura pa ne simpie kan say Ghana for nko national ID card ye nyina ye ni ha na John Mahama ne Muntaka ne Haruna Idrisu nom say Ghana for nko national ID card kasa adi wo eya ade bi a mo na mo de baaye a munim ehom faso a ene identity a mo ka kire Ghana for say ma omo enkoye national ID card se mo se na mo de ade ne baaye e wo system no mu a then why were you even trying to tell Ghanaians not to go and register themselves? This is the answer that I need. But then, and this is someone on the back. Mamenka history. There be I'm more appear FedEx. The platform is moving to say. Me caution me can say the Ghana card was initiated since years ago, but the person of Ghana mind so ultimately two the nice form say he want to finish the Ghana ID card was President Kufuor. President Kufuor did everything to make sure say Mama Ghana authentic identification akoso. He did everything. And Afofian to attend the 2008 Olusu election. When he lose the election in 2008, John Mahama na Miss Bedi Ghana Mansono. They stood in office for 8 good years. Munya that fake documents are Kevin Taylor, I could father better on the platform so Odin to Ghana for. Yes, Annette. And some phone Kevin Taylor catch Ghana for even some people before believe we say and this if one share Ghana card as no one team none of them could for the so entisa. It is J. Kufuor who started everything. J. Kufuor did a day of Sambre, Otra Yahweh said the capacity in the city. J. Kufuor, what was remain was that the NDC in 28, when they win the election, in 2009, they were supposed to go out and register people, but they refused because they did not understand the importance of it. and on what they told why and copem said. Nana Danko Kufuado, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ebetran Kunyasua, or Mofasi or Mobose, they are going to make it happen. And they made it. But don't say, I didn't buy a crab. I didn't a year, no, I didn't the national. The NDC is out here to claim, say, they brought the National Identification Card Initiative in Ghana. I said this for Mosanso yesterday. Mudi bibia mo na mo de baaye. Na de ye me se da bia se de me nwa fereska. Mahama fere konwa so na oye nsenkyere ne. Hadofo ba share video no. Na kan hu se wetimi to any platform no so. Me nwa feres na asem. Jo Mahama fere konwa so no, o fere konwa so na oye nsenkyere ne. Ade bia bekoso wo Ghana bia no. It was done by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Everything possible, everything positive, every good initiative, every good thing that will be done in Ghana today, you should remember, say, John Mahama, I know we are better going to and feel when you went to me and your way. And now, call opposition, I would fear, and now we're Ghana card. Huh? That's almost correct. Says Omo ankasa ne ye nneema sande se kire omo ho. Omo first of all no ye de adepa Ghana or ye de adepa eba Ghana man mu a de omo tumi ye nyina ne say first of all they will come and criticize the thing. They will come and preach the people not to bear with it. But say ade ne ye na say ko nanim na be ye papa na omo aba say omo na omo de ba ye saa na tie national free SHS and this for modern sponsor that numbers of an advert against free education. But free education you take place here. At the part no. The NDC came back and say we brought free SHS in Ghana. How? And national identification card is so. Yeah, they ban almost there be enya the permanent phone ko ye na omudi ba be wi abam. Still even and Mahama has simple journey mu ka say the national ID card is meant to manipulate the results of the general elections in 2024. But still, almost no money buy. Indeed, idea would the buy. How can it be used to manipulate the election 2024? So, Boro, Jadia, you know, Hansen Yama ya Obabro Kumi view. And Jadia, you know, and the ONM wow. I don't know what type of techniques you are using. But anytime you come here, my views goes down. Stop that. Stop that. Yes, I will block you. Yeah. And therefore, sanity, the NDC is owner of everything. The NDC are the people who brought every policy, every good policy in the country. Okay, yes, sir. How can a sitting president announce to say or kwakoye Ghana card na watra konwa so en fiedudu we nyina na wantimi anye ho hwe but na obi aba waba be mana ye no de he is out there to say so na de buy hadofo de yenko ti asema Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kan ya said ye ka Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia bo wa e o microphone mu a na NDC political party ni atete apansam say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ba abonten na okese he na NDC fo edwane hey Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kasa because omunim said the economic messiah the in political Ghana political whiskey, the knowledge of economics, the man of his word, the best economical management, the best ever vice president Ghana has ever had, his back. Tiokasa pet no mu dwane hadofo me no me enko tie Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kai me boni video short one way na ma bo another video no na said e betie no Ghana ni uhwe me na o pese so me na o meka de onim emfa sema ye kan ho a na o ba wuram na ye no wadi komo.
Before and since independence, we inherited a problem of no unique national identification system. This had been with us since independence. We have implemented the national identification system of the Ghana card. And we have today 16 million Ghanaians with unique identities. And that is a major transformation. A lot of people sometimes don't even appreciate what the impact of the Ghana card is. But if you gave me 1,000 interchanges and the Ghana card, I'll choose the Ghana card because it has more impact on development. Has brought home the point that cybersecurity is a serious concern for
organizations. Adafrom, mumayenti asema Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, mchane short. Mayene short kakrabi. Mumayenti nsema hodwa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kan ya NDC for echusu only 1 minute of a video to demolish the whole discussion. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia trans prepare the baba to Ghana for him. Okansem bebre. But I'm say NDC, any good policy to help Ghana, they decided to take only one thing and talk about it. Women couldn't go to therefore, link now at that platform no so. Who person mere more utimbo them now babiti na wababeka ya usunim actually Ghana for.
Organizations of every size. Marketing in a noisy world. Online presence is a requirement, but it would seem the bigger the marketing budget, the better known the brand. Yet marketing is a must for ongoing growth and market share for any enterprise. The digital age has meant that businesses rely less on traditional marketing methods, which in many ways has made messaging the masses more accessible. From social media to time-saving artificial intelligence, list building, there are many exciting marketing options for businesses in all sectors of the Ghanaian economy. Maximizing budget is everything, and there is a great deal of focus and concern in the entrepreneurial community about employing people who understand how to maximize reach and produce the campaigns and the content to do so. Marketing in a noisy world is both easier and more complex. The question is, how do you know you're doing everything possible to attract new customers and get your brand in front of the people looking for a small business like yours? The automation advantage. While many institutions can sense the opportunities that the digitalization agenda offers, the abundance of opportunities also makes it difficult for institutions to make appropriate choices on how far and where they should go. In this context, I would like to suggest a guiding principle that should apply to all institutions. Whatever initiatives that an institution is pursuing, they have to be done with the prime objective to enhance the quality of life of Ghanaians. Many business ventures are exploring and embracing automation to streamline business processes and increase efficiencies. There are many options available to automate basic, repetitive, rules-based tasks, allowing them to reduce human error and free up employee time to work on more creative, growth-building tasks. With more and more low-cost automation solutions available, there is an enthusiasm to learn more and discover real-world examples of how they can automate areas such as marketing, sales, operations, and finance. It is clear that there are some tasks that can and should be automated to create more efficiency and free up employees to make better use of their time. And there's always that worry that if we don't, our competitors will. Being overwhelmed by tech load.
And Tigana formatted. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na aban edwene kwan ebefa so a ebema Ghana for edi omonsa aye adwuma less na omo anya akwanya akọ aye ade foforo ama omo brabo kọ omo anim no The NDC is there talking about I prefer interchanges than the national ID card. Whilst the people are spending all their brains and minds to create something positive for the country, the other idiots are out there making unnecessary noises just to make their party relevant in the system. To the NDC for no, and they are trying to make their party something in the system.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has accelerated the digital transformation of most industries, and those that have embraced it have some experience with the benefits of cloud services, connectivity, and mobility and automation. Understanding that these categories of technology are available is one thing, but navigating them is another. Right now, industry leaders are inundated with information and overwhelmed with technology options. The overabundance of choice adds to the pressure of knowing where to begin to find a solution that will work seamlessly with existing systems and satisfy future goals. There is a fear of the known unknown. Selecting the right solution is more important than selecting the right vendor. Vendors tend to push technology, not solutions. Small businesses don't care much about technology. It's more about business outcomes. Tech vendors value the complexity of a solution and therefore the costs of investing. There is a need to first establish trust that solutions work before understanding the technology. At the heart of these 5 realms is the role of information technology education to determine a solution's likelihood of meeting the following criteria. Establish the problem to determine the solution, with emphasis needs to be on solving business challenges rather than the technology itself. Ease of integration within business, understand the potential return on investment for the business with defined and quantitative outcomes. And these are critical criteria. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I would like to use this opportunity because this is the first time I'm speaking publicly in a little while. I would like to use this opportunity to make some comments on an issue on the minds of many Ghanaians, which is the decision by government to opt for an IMF program to stabilize the economy in the midst of global crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, a global crisis that has visited untold hardships on Ghanaians, with rising prices of virtually everything, from fuel to bread to tomatoes, building materials, and so on. In the midst of this global crisis, Ghana's fiscal and debt sustainability has worsened. Some commentators and analysts have argued that the COVID-19 expenditures by government alone could not be the reason for the large increase in the fiscal deficit and the debt stock. In fact, they are right. The COVID-19 expenditures alone were not the reason for the large increase in Ghana's debt stock by the end of 2021. In fact, as I stated in my April 7th lecture this year, in addition to COVID-19, there are 2 major items of expenditure that are critical in understanding the evolution of the fiscal deficit and the debt stock. And these 2 items are the banking sector cleanup and the energy sector excess capacity payments. The excess capacity payments of 17 billion Ghana cedis relate to a legacy of take-or-pay contracts that saddled our economy with annual excess capacity charges of close to $1 billion a year. These were basically contracts to supply energy to Ghana way in excess of our requirements at the time. But we were obligated to pay for the power whether we used it or not. The excess capacity payments of this 17 billion includes a 7 billion CD payment for gas resulting from the signing of an offtake agreement for a fixed quantity of gas with ENI Sankofa on a take-or-pay basis, which was way in excess of what was needed at the time. Not keeping up with the excess capacity payments would have meant throwing the country back into a new bout of doomsday or power outages. We were also confronted with a banking crisis as a result of the mismanagement of the banking sector. Ghana's banking system was on the verge of collapse, and not dealing with it decisively would have meant a disaster for the economy, with millions of people losing their savings. So we had direct COVID-19 expenditures amounting to 12 billion Ghana cedis. We had the banking sector cleanup costs amounting to 25 billion Ghana cedis, and the excess capacity payments amounting to 17 billion Ghana cedis. And the data shows that the three items, when you take COVID, banking sector cleanup, and the excess capacity payments, cumulatively amounted to 54 billion Ghana cedis. And that is the equivalent of $7 billion. Three items, $7 billion that of expenditure which had to be taken. You couldn't say you wouldn't spend to rescue the banking sector because you are in trouble. The economy will collapse. You couldn't say you won't pay excess capacity payments because you will have power outages. You couldn't say you wouldn't spend on the COVID because we had a job to save lives. So the Ministry of Finance estimates, and this money, this $54 billion, was borrowed money. The Ministry of Finance estimates that the interest payment on just this 54 billion Ghana cedis that was borrowed for these three items is 8.5 billion Ghana cedis annually. And this represents 23% of our annual interest payments of about 37 billion Ghana cedis. So to put the expenditure on these three items in perspective, it is important to juxtapose it against the total expenditure releases on some of the government's key flagship projects, including the free SHS, the One District, One Factory, Planting for Food and Jobs, Development Authorities, the Ghana Card, Zongo Development Fund, NAPCO, Teacher Training Allowance, Nursing Training Allowance. The data shows that the expenditure on these flagship policies that I've mentioned, the total expenditure by government on these flagship policies over a 5-year period amounted to 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. 5 years of free SHS, NAPCO, and all of that, 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. And this is compared with the 54 billion Ghana cedis expenditure on the three exceptional items. So the expenditure on the three exceptional items is more than 3 times the expenditure on the flagship programs, over 5 billion Ghana cedis annually. Capacity payments, because you have power outages. Ghana cedis, we had the banking sector, 7 billion CD payments up, and the energy sector excess capacity payments. The excess capacity payments of 17 billion Ghana cedis relate to a legacy of take-or-pay contracts that saddled our economy with annual excess capacity charges of close to $1 billion a year.
Ghana for Mote, wow. Wow. Energy ana ho aye den wo Ghana. John Mahama ne na banse omo kwakofa energy electricity abreye no. Interest ya omo de to so nko ano afibia no eye $1 billion. Kana for mutie ne ye. Wow. We enum ena ye ka John Mahama ne na aban ebogu Ghana for so. Ha na ni kwanse nka omo bosa aka no. Enti nka nsem we na wo se nka ndisi for mra bonten. Na nka omo mra ma kire mu se enye nokore. We ena na nka ye party so nka ndisi for wa ke se enye nokore. But they rather came out to talk about trash, to talk about things enye something important to Ghanaians. What is the Dr. Bawumia kind of? Saka na omokobo gu ho no. Eho interest nko na afibia no e cost Ghana the tires payers money $1 billion. Yento aso.
These were basically contracts to supply energy to Ghana way in excess of our requirements at the time. But we were obligated to pay for the power whether we used it or not.
The Chakomakra agreement no mkoye no e kire se ye the machines number be si ho who you show one you show e wo se wuntua mutie dey make who you show power no one you show e wo se wuntua yento ado.
The excess capacity payments of this 17 billion includes a 7 billion CD payment for gas resulting from the signing of an offtake agreement for a fixed quantity of gas with ENI Sankofa on a take or pay basis, which was way in excess of what was needed at the time.
The etwa to okura no almost sign another agreement with ENI, a Italy for company, gas production company. And for mutie almost sign chese obi ton gas na also kwa akoto gas no ukwo ye no si okay mi hia dodo we se me yusuo man yusuo metua kama brother who in his right sense will ever and ever why na nadwene ni timpa na ototo ne niam yie na nadwene ye adwuma yie na enye wia na opeso nwia Ghana fo na opeso nye adwuma pama Ghana manya obeti asese gas na odi aba no se mi yusuo man yusuo metua ho ka ma me pa wa chew se wo a nka obeye eye obotom sika ena nka John Mahama edikoye se agreement o ya nka juru se nka obeye Ghana fo ye wa manyofuo ena ye wo amambufuo enti mo ma ye mixe the differences ye wa manyofuo ena ye wo amambufuo omo ye oman omo siesi oman ena ye wo omo bu oman handisifo ya amambufuo omo bu man motitwi da se omo bu oman omo nye den enye den ni oman so anase omo nkura man momento aso.
Not keeping up with the excess capacity payments would have meant throwing the country back into a new bout of doomsday or power outages.
The Dr. Bawumia nyina ne say agreement na omko sign say you use gas no ya yusuo ye betua ma no asekire ne say se bosome so na wantua sa sika na ama omo a omo nso prawo de obehia no enti we dan a age so sanko doomsday yento ado ye to aso ye kirechirem ketenkete nsema hodo ajo Dr. Bawumia be kan ya and this if one to me nsem papa bia me kan kire Ghana fo a de omutum be kan ye ne interchange and Ghana card no ene ye be kirechirem wo twi mu a kire Ghana fo na matie enyansasem aman we betina simpie ni ampa so kan kire Ghana fo a obi antumi ankanta no na mom no ensem fo na this if otim e de be kasa ye no yento ado.
We were also confronted with a banking crisis as a result of the mismanagement of the banking sector. Ghana's banking system was on the verge of collapse, and not dealing with it decisively would have meant a disaster for the economy, with millions of people losing their savings. So we had direct COVID-19 expenditures amounting to 12 billion Ghana cedis. We had the banking sector cleanup costs amounting to 25 billion Ghana cedis, and the excess capacity payments amounting to 17 billion Ghana cedis.
Nti adɔfonom ɛka wei nyinaa ɛda hɔ yi. Mess a NDC-foɔ ɛkɔ so yɛ ɛwɔ banking sector ɛnko 25 billion Ghana cedis. Saa agreement na ɔmo kɔyɛ fa light nko a ɔmo fɛ sɛ ɔmo solve Ghana light no ɛno kɔ 17 billion cedis. But still na transformers couple wires one tension pole to another na ni nyinaa wɔrɔto. They did not think about it. COVID aban no expended 12 billion Ghana cedis and they solve COVID ɛwɔ Ghana man. Nti ɛka bebrebe wɔ nyinaa 54 billion Ghana cedis. Uko oyen divided by 7 a ubehu sika dodo a aban wei expende ye a emu enchefa aduosun enum no eye NDC for carbon omobogu Ghana for nti oman ye be den yamana konani momento ado.
And the data shows that the three items, when you take COVID, banking sector cleanup, and the excess capacity payments, cumulatively amounted to 54 billion Ghana cedis. And that is the equivalent of 7 billion US dollars. Three items, 7 billion US dollars that of expenditure which had to be taken. You couldn't say you wouldn't spend to rescue the banking sector because you are in trouble. The economy will collapse. You couldn't say you won't pay excess capacity payments because you will have power outages. You couldn't say you wouldn't spend on the COVID because we had a job to save lives. So the Ministry of Finance estimates, and this money, this $54 billion, was borrowed money. The Ministry of Finance estimates that the interest payment on just this 54 billion Ghana cedis that was borrowed for these three items is 8.5 billion Ghana cedis annually. And this represents 23% of our annual interest payments of about 37 billion Ghana cedis.
Interesaka we omobogu we nyina no afibia no interest abane oso ntua nko ano 36 billion Ghana cedis. We any adwuma pa Jomahama ene na aban ebebo ebeye ma Ghana. We ene nsanu dwuma and this nsanu dwuma how do from me say and this nsanu dwuma any 33 million Ghana cedis. Adwuma papa and this beye ma Ghana ene na yeti ho ase do me nko yedi hey asebo awurade yawe.
So to put the expenditure on these three items in perspective, it is important to juxtapose it against the total expenditure releases on some of the government's key flagship projects, including the free SHS, the One District, One Factory, Planting for Food and Jobs, Development Authorities, the Ghana Card, Zongo Development Fund, NAPCO, Teacher Training Allowance, Nursing Training Allowance. The data shows that the expenditure on these flagship policies that I've mentioned, the total expenditure by government on these flagship policies over a 5-year period amounted to 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. 5 years.
deɛ John Mahama na aban bɛyɛ gu hɔ ɛho interest nkoa no ɛdɔɔso ɛsene edwuma kɛseɛ a Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ayɛ no wɔ man no mu interest nkoa o deɛ ɔman mo video na mo ntie video no nkoa yɛbɛsen hyɛ
CSHS, NAPCO, and all of that, 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. And this is compared with the 54 billion Ghana cedis expenditure on the 3 exceptional items. So the expenditure on the 3 exceptional items is more than 3 times the expenditure on the flagship programs over 5 years. In fact, the annual interest cost of the borrowing, the 54 billion for the 3 exceptional items would pay for double the annual cost of all the 3 flagship programs I've referred to. So it should be noted, ladies and gentlemen, that without the 54 billion debt for the 3 exceptional items, the COVID-19, the financial sector cleanup, and the energy sector excess capacity payments, Ghana's debt to GDP would be within the sustainability thresholds of some 68% instead of the 76.6% at the end of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, following the Russia-Ukraine war, energy and food prices skyrocketed globally. For many advanced economies, inflation reached 30 and 40-year highs. Inflation in Ghana has increased to 29.8% in June 2022. Global supply chains were disrupted and shipping costs increased by over 1,000%. Economic growth slowed down. Higher revenue projections in the 2022 budget based on tax exemptions, property rates, and the e-levy did not materialize. The debt sustainability analysis continued to place Ghana at a high risk of debt distress. There was a credit ratings downgrade by the international credit ratings agencies. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, before COVID-19, Ghana was borrowing some $3 billion annually from the international capital market. But following COVID-19, the international capital markets have been largely inaccessible by emerging market countries like Ghana. Furthermore, as a result of increases in interest rates in the developed economies and increased perceived risk of emerging market economies, investors have pulled $50 billion from emerging market bond funds just in this year, in 2022. 50 billion have been pulled. Non-resident holders of bonds in Ghana were not also rolling over maturities. In a decline in foreign exchange reserves also resulted. With the challenges in accessing the international capital market, balance of payment support was needed to bridge this financing gap, stabilize the economy, and create the space to implement structural reforms and restore debt sustainability. And this is really the reason why Ghana had to go to the IMF. I should again note that Ghana has been hit with a quadruple whammy, The energy sector excess capacity payments, banking sector cleanup, COVID-19, and the Russia-Ukraine war. We have been hit by this quadruple whammy. And I say again that if you take out the fiscal impact of this quadruple whammy, Ghana will not be going to the IMF for support because our fiscal and debt and balance of payments outlook would be sustainable. Of the 4 factors, COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war, were external, and the other 2, the banking sector cleanup and the excess capacity payments, were the result of policies of the previous government. Today, all over the world, fuel prices are rising in virtually every country. Food prices are rising, inflation is high, it's at a high for many years, currencies are falling in value, fiscal deficits are rising, debt levels are increasing. This is happening globally. And this tells us that what we are dealing with is a global phenomenon. Let me give you an analogy to make my point. If you ask a carpenter to roof your house, and he roofs this house, and suddenly the roof collapses, without any rainfall or wind, suddenly you have a collapsing of the roof. Will you not blame the carpenter who did the roofing? Will you not blame the carpenter? But if the carpenter roofs your house and the roof collapses because there's a tornado and a storm which has blown away roofs and windows and walls of many houses, will you blame the carpenter? Will you blame the carpenter? So, let us understand the context. Let us understand the context. In one situation, you will definitely blame the carpenter. In another situation, you will blame the tornado. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are interested in the way forward. Whatever is the cause, we are dealing with an economic crisis. Unfortunately, judging from where we are today, there is no end in sight for the Russia-Ukraine war. While we hope for a quick end to the war, we must understand that things could get worse before they get better. We have to steel ourselves for that because we just don't know when this war is going to end. The major lesson of the last 2 years is that we have to be more self-reliant. It is important that we take decisions that will inure to the benefit of the country, regardless of whether we are going to the IMF for a program or not. Regardless, we have to take the decisions that will help Ghana. The immediate task is to restore fiscal and debt sustainability, and these will be through revenue and expenditure measures and structural reforms. There's no way of going about that. We should also try and curtail non-concessional borrowing. That has to be curtailed. Indeed, the reliance on international capital markets to fill the financing gap of about $3 billion annually exposed the vulnerability of the economy once the capital markets shut down to emerging markets. This has heightened the need for Ghana to build foreign exchange reserve buffers to cater for unanticipated shocks like COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war. Ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding that Ghana is one of the largest producers of gold in the world, and we have been so for almost 100 years, notwithstanding that, at the end, Ghana's reserves of gold at the central bank, we, this largest producer of gold, notwithstanding that, Ghana's reserves of gold at the central bank at the end of 2021 was only 8.7 kilograms. That is our quantum of gold reserves. And it is against this background that the Bank of Ghana started a gold purchase program from gold producers to build up its foreign exchange reserves. To enhance this gold purchase program, government is implementing a new policy, which is already backed by law. And under this new policy, the Bank of Ghana, the central bank, will have the first right of refusal for all gold mined in Ghana. We will have the first right of refusal. The law says if you mine gold, we can buy it off you. And so the central bank will have the first right of refusal, and the central bank will purchase the gold at world market prices and the mining companies will export the portion that is not purchased by the central bank. This is a very, very important policy. Ultimately, once we accumulate enough gold, our future borrowing and our currency can be backed by gold. This will stabilize the cedi in the long term. We must also deepen our industrialization through value addition to gold. Even though Ghana has 2 gold refineries, none has the London Bullion Market Association certification, and this limits our full participation in the gold value chain. We will urgently work towards LBMA certification for our refineries in the next few years. Value addition to minerals such as lithium and bauxite will similarly be pursued, in addition to our 1D, 1F program and the implementation, a continued implementation of the automotive sector policy. We are building, and we have to build, an industrial economy. We are also poised for major reform in the energy sector. The energy sector has proven to be an Achilles heel of the economy, and the reforms will make the sector more market-based. The investment in technical and vocational education has been massive, and we will continue to focus on technical and vocational education training to provide the skills needed for industry. Domestic revenue mobilization is key to self-reliance. We have put in place the architecture and infrastructure to expand the tax base and collect more taxes. A new unified common platform for the collection of property taxes is going to be soon outdoored. We are rationalizing tax exemptions through the tax exemptions bill. We are easing of the filing of taxes and payment for taxes through the new GRA application. The new architecture for domestic revenue mobilization should be fully operational by the end of the year. The circumstances call for an increased focus on agricultural production in the face of predicted global food shortages. And digitalization, as we have just noted, is key to our participation in the 4th Industrial Revolution, and we must therefore deepen the digitalization of the economy. It is important to note, ladies and gentlemen, that the focus of economic management by successive governments since independence in Ghana has been on crisis management as a result of factors such as the collapse in commodity prices, increase in oil prices, debt unsustainability, political instability, and so on. So governments since independence have tended to focus on crisis management. Governments have by and large not focused on building systems and institutions that underpin economic activities in a modern economy. The systems that will reduce bribery and corruption, the systems that will make the delivery of public services efficient, the systems that will enhance domestic revenue mobilization, and the systems that will reduce the cost of doing business and make it easier for Ghanaians. I should note that Ghana has gone to the IMF for a program 17 times since independence. And after each IMF program, the underlying system and structure of the economy has remained the same. After each of the 17 IMF programs, Ghana did not have a national ID card, no functioning national digital property address system, only 30% of the adult population had a bank account, inefficiency, bureaucracy, and bribery at the ports and in delivery of government services, no digitization at the passport office, DVLA, births and deaths, no motor insurance database, no credit scoring for credit reference agencies, less Less than 4% of the population had a tax identification number, and there was no integration of databases of the GRA, SNIT, Control and Accountant General, NHIS, Ghana Health Service, Passport Office, DVLA, Police, Immigration, bank accounts, and SIP cards with a unique identifier. There was no such integration. There were no drones to deliver medical supplies, no universal QR code, no national scale e-pharmacy, no unified common platform for property taxation, no gold purchase program by the Bank of Ghana with a first right of refusal by the central bank for all gold mined in Ghana, no focus on TVET education, no industrial policy like 1D, 1F, no overarching agricultural policy like planting for food and jobs, and no free seed.
Anam nti ne sɛ deɛ teɛ no ɛm sɛ mo nyinaa mote deɛ Dr. Mawood Bawumia ɛbɛkaeɛ. But incompetency of the NDC, they were not able to match him with the figures. And they just came out to spread trash, things that will not benefit any Ghanaian. And which will say the NDC cannot and can never help Ghana to change the way that we all need. Thank you very much for being here. I think I'm going to end the show right here, and I hope we're going to meet again. Thank you all. Salute. Adios.
Government has been able to solve many problems that have faced Ghanaians. Some of the problems go back to the period before and since independence. We inherited a problem of no unique national identification system. This had been with us since independence. We have implemented the national identification system of the Ghana card. And we have today 16 million Ghanaians with unique identities. And that is a major transformation. A lot of people sometimes don't even appreciate what the impact of the Ghana card is. But if you gave me 1,000 interchanges and a Ghana card, I'll choose the Ghana card because it has more impact on the economy.